Braves Today podcast, bravestoday.com, Braves_today on the Twitter, all brought to you by prizepicks.com. Promo code CHOP so you can get that risk-free money. He is Lindsay Crosby. I'm Ben Taylor. Welcome into Braves Today. And the Braves lose. What is going on? We're all melting down. If you read message boards, if you read Twitter, we suck again.
I wrote a mailbag on the off day, and the questions were surprisingly not the sky is falling, except for anything that involved Marcell Ozuna. There was that. And then other than that, everybody else is just incremental small changes. For the most part, Braves fans are fine with the fact they lost a game. Yeah. And I think it's because they won a bunch before that. So surprising.
Do you remember your picks? Did you go 1 and 2 or did you go 2 and 1?
I went 2 and 1. I went 2 and 1. You said 1 and 2.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be a letdown. That you mentioned Ozuna. That's not in the rundown, but I will bring him up. I was a little confused about that pinch hit situation at the end of the ball game, putting him in. I have a theory on that. I have a theory that was a Snedeker putting forth a challenge because they've already got 2 wins out of the series. And so it was a challenge to Ozuna to be like, all right, here's your opportunity to shut some people up, including in our clubhouse and in our upper management. And I got to be honest with you, Lindsay, it was a win for me because as soon as he put him in, I thought, double play. We're going to end the game right here.
Between that and then the Arizona Diamondbacks being bold enough to go ahead and DFA Madison Bumgarner and eat a similar amount of money, it's like, okay, yeah, I think we're winning. The one thing I will give Marcell Ozuna, okay, is he hits the ball hard.
He does.
The hard hit rate, the average for MLB is about 36%. He's sitting at 43% this year. So he's hitting the ball hard. He's just hitting it right at people. His his average launch angle is below 10 degrees. It's virtually at best a line drive every time he hits it. And he's underperforming every advanced stat and he's just not making it happen. And at this point, just eat the money and move on.
Because I don't want to give him a ton of credit because there are a lot of hitting coaches that I've talked to before that they will say anytime a guy is fouling balls straight back, that means he's got a beat on it. He's just missing it. If it's going straight back, and especially straight back with velocity, not like a pop-up foul ball, but basically a line drive right back to the screen, which is what he did the other day.
Yep.
4 times. And I thought, great. Not that I didn't want the Braves to win, but I thought, he's going to launch one 450 feet, and the entire management crew is going to be like, oh, great, awesome. We can keep him now. Yeah, he's back. And I did not want that to happen. So I was pulling for no home run, and I was also pulling for no double play. And he did exactly what I needed him to do, which was strike out and give somebody else an opportunity to get to the plate. So I got my wish. I just didn't get the results that I wanted. That's the Ozuna thing. Coming off that series victory over the Padres, what do we think of the Padres? Because they were in every game. I mean, Atlanta's defense and timely hitting put them into it. Even when Atlanta blew the Padres out, it was late in the game. We had dipped into their bullpen. Other than that, they hung around the entire time. So you buying or selling the Padres? And the reason I ask that is because everything goes through LA out there.
I am buying the Padres right now simply because so many people in their lineup have underperformed what they historically have done. Right now, everybody in the Padres lineup except for Xander Bogaerts is batting under 300. I mean, Juan Soto's batting 194. That's not Juan Soto.
No.
Manny Machado is batting 241 with a 316 slugging. It would have been higher if he didn't get robbed at the wall by Sam Hilliard.
Yes.
But these are all significantly under their career norms. And so I think this is a team that's they stumbled a little bit. They've been behind in some games. Like you mentioned, they've been in them, but they've gotten some bad breaks. We don't acknowledge enough the role that luck plays in baseball. And so a couple balls come down that didn't come down or find a hole that didn't find a hole before. Their season looks a little bit different because they've had so many close losses. I'm buying at a discount if I can on the Padres.
Oh, you can get a discount now because that price is about to go up when Tatis returns. I don't know what his scheduled date of return is. Personal opinion on that matter. Oh, it's tomorrow.
Friday.
Wow.
He's back on Friday.
My personal opinion on that matter is I agree with some of the pitching at the minor league level that has complained about him being able to do a quote unquote, it's not a rehab start. It's just him getting some swings in and
Mhm.
getting some play in. I think when you're suspended 50 games, you're suspended 50 games. And, if my work suspends me for a month, I can't just show up there and start recording commercials or something on the side for a little
Yeah.
extra gear. Like I've got to stay away. And I think that's the way it should be with Major League Baseball. I
Mhm.
understand why they do it, prevent injuries, so he doesn't come back and not to hurt the team because he's a superstar. They love the fact that he's selling out
El
crowds at
El Paso. Yeah.
yeah, in El Paso, and the fact that they're looking forward to his return whenever he comes to San, and they have good crowds already. They're going to get even better with him back in the lineup. So yeah, if you're going to buy him tonight before he comes back because that price is about to go up. And I do think that Padres are real. I know everything goes through LA, but right now I think the Padres are a better ball club than LA, just in my opinion. I could be, as you just said, ball bounces a certain way a couple of times for the Padres, and they've got a totally different season running right now. And if Tatis doesn't juice himself last year, then they probably start the year a whole lot better than what they're doing.
Yeah.
So a lot of what ifs with the San Diego Padres.
Them being one, what is it? Him being like missing these games has just done a thing on them. He's their leadoff guy. He's obviously the dynamic talent. He's their version of Ronald Acuña at the top of the lineup. If you take Ronald Acuña Jr. out of this lineup, it's a different looking lineup to start the season. And they're 1 through 4 when he's back of him, Soto, Machado, and Bogarts is probably as good as any 1 through 4 in baseball, including ours. Just as good. So
no, I agree.
Definitely buying.
And speaking of, you just mentioned Hilliard's robbery of the home run. Atlanta's defense looked really good this weekend or this past week. And I think that's something that a lot of people are not giving credit for. They're giving credit to the pitching, which the pitching has been good. But the defense has just been spectacular. Everything from Hilliard, Acuña had a couple, not necessarily robbed from over the wall, but still, anytime a guy's going crashing into a fence and hangs onto a ball, that's always a plus in my mind.
The Braves are doing a very good job of not only getting the balls they're supposed to get, but having a shot at all of the ones that you're not necessarily supposed to get. I want to say error-wise, Atlanta's got maybe 9 errors on the season, and they've turned twice as many double plays. They have 18 double plays to 9 errors, which is pretty healthy ratio, and it just feels like even Vaughn Grissom, he had a rocky first game or two once he first came up, and then since then, he's been a little more comfortable with the defensive rhythms, doing what he needs to do. I still don't understand defensive statistics. They say Austin Riley is one of the worst third basemen in baseball defensively. I don't understand how that works. He passes the eye test. He obviously looks good, but I never worry about this defense not making the routine play. And I think that's a big part of it. They dominate the routine play, and doing things like that can cover up an occasional mistake here and there.
You mentioned Ronald Acuña. We can't go a show without talking about him because right now he may be the best player in baseball. That, not even my words, not your words. That was Manny Machado's words after game 1. Him knowing he has a teammate in Tatis and him still saying that, making that statement. That's a pretty big compliment coming from a guy like that.
Ronald Acuña Jr. leads all of baseball in runs scored, and he is up there in a bunch of other categories. His OPS is just about 1,000. He's stolen 8 bags already. He does just about everything he wants to. Well, the only thing we haven't really seen him do is hit a bunch of home runs. He's being a lot more patient at the plate. And I think you touched on this last time that we recorded. That first swing is his.
Yes.
And after that, he is very much focused on doing what the team needs him to do. And in the past, that second strike would be his. And sometimes that third strike would be his. And so it's a little bit of maturity and growth from the 25-year-old, but it's hard to refute the point. He is the best player in baseball right now. He is the catalyst that makes this team go. He's a threat on the base pass. He's a threat on the outfield. He's a threat at the plate. You have to respect Ronald Acuña Jr. from the very first pitch of the game.
Yeah, there are guys that were stranded on third, stranded on second. They didn't even attempt to run on him. And I did like his little nod, a little blooper that went in right field, and he asked the runner, "Do you want to try second? I mean, it's up to you.
You can do it. You can go. It'd be fun for me.
I need to pad my stats. You go. You just go right ahead. But I do find it. You mentioned and we talked about it, about that first swing being his, and then him kind of tempering it back a little bit. Also, the one thing that I noticed this past weekend that he's doing, he's not swinging at stupid 3-0 pitches. He did that last year, and I get the green light. I think he should have the green light. A lot of times they're going to, but I think he earned a reputation amongst pitchers where even at 3-0, he's not getting anything. And so this year he is getting base on balls, and he's getting on base, and he's using his wheels to go ahead and take second. So he's realizing that a walk could essentially be a double. It doesn't show up that way in the stat column, but from a looks standpoint, it shows up that way with the team. And I think that is paying dividends for him. Having that 3-0, 3-1 eye to not go fishing, because he knows they've learned they can't give him anything belt high and flat. You just can't.
It's gone.
And he's one that you can't go in on him and you can't go out on him. So he's realized that at 3-0, 3-1, he's still going to see something off speed. He's not going to see that grooved fastball that they can try to get back in the count against him.
And to your point on the patience at the plate for not only him, but everybody. Yeah. And granted, sample sizes are different, but last year, the team's on-base percentage was under 320. At this point in the year, Atlanta has the third best on-base percentage in baseball at 345. It's been a point of emphasis for a lot of the team. Just about everybody. The one exception to me that I've noticed feels like it's Matt Olson. Matt Olson still, I think he leads baseball right now in strikeouts. He's the only one that really doesn't have as evolved an approach as he needs to have as far as when it gets later in the count and he's behind, putting the ball in play versus getting a strikeout. Other than that, the team's done a really good job of focusing on, I just need to get on base. I don't, however it is, a walk, whatever, let's be selective. Let's wait for a pitch we can drive. And if that's not that, we're just going to take it at 3-0.
Before we get into pitching matchups, I do want to mention pitching Soroka. They showed some highlights of him and a rehab start. Number one, he looks a little thicker, looks a little wider. Maybe the rehab start had some sit-down meals that went along with it. Not sure, but but I also think he's bulked up a little bit and trying to strengthen his body. And so he looked good in the highlights, but I told you before we came on, that's why they're called highlights. We don't get to see the rest of it. What's your take on, number one, how he's doing? Number two, when do you think we may possibly see him?
Yeah. So when you see him being thicker, I've talked to plenty of prospects who have had Tommy John surgery and other long lingering rehab stints for injuries. And one of the common themes behind those longer rehab stints is you have plenty of time to put in the work to do the lifting and things like that. So you're going to see a guy be a little thicker when he comes back from any sort of long layoff. But I'm impressed with the pitch count, how he's able to get deeper into games. He pitched the other day for AAA Gwinnett, got to 91 pitches. I do want to temper expectations on, is he ready to come back or not? The velocity, so the sinker capped out, like the average was about 91 miles an hour. It capped out just under 94. The four-seamer averaged about 92, topped out just under 95. But he threw 91 pitches. He only got 9 swings and misses. So one of the common things you can look for when you combine called strikes plus swings and misses, the rate, it's called CSW rate. And the average in Major League Baseball is about 30%. So in essence, 1/3 of all your pitches should be either a swing and miss or a called strike. He was at 23% in that start. And he wasn't playing a fantastic team. He was playing the Omaha Storm Chasers, AAA for Kansas City, who not a great farm system, not a great big league team, not like they had tons of talent. And so from having watched most of that game, I pulled that game up on MILB.TV, I would say he's probably at best 4 or so weeks away. I'd want to see him get 4 to 5 more starts just to wait for a little bit more of that velocity to come back, get more comfortable with the changeup. He only threw it 3 times. And so right now it's very much a 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider kind of game. He needs to get that off-speed pitch where he trusts it and where it's working before he can come back and try to start again at the major league level.
So that everybody temper your expectations a little bit. Really quickly, Houston this weekend. We'll recap that series on Monday. Your expectations? I'm going 2-1 against Houston.
I am also going 2-1. I feel good about the Braves pitching, handling this, for the most part, handling this depleted lineup a bit without Bregman, without Altuve. I am a little curious about how the Braves do against some of this pitching, Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, but I think 2-1.
Apple TV on Friday night, Bally Sports on Saturday and Sunday. So
Nobody's going to watch Friday night. We'll have takeaways on bravestoday.com after the game if you can't watch it.
Which a lot of people will not be able to do. He's Lindsay Crosby. I'm Ben Taylor. It's been brought to you by prizepicks.com, Braves Today podcast, Braves_today on Twitter, or bravestoday.com. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks for having me. Job on.